very empty there, isn't it? I think I'm gonna change that now. So, headpiece acquired, some sort of decoration put up in the background. I even have something to rehydrate myself, just in case. So I haven't made a thrift haul in a while. I haven't made any kind of video in a while. And you know, there's this thing when you're not a professional content creator, that you have a job and other adult life things that do not happen in social media, and that apparently happened to me. I don't know how it could, but it did. But now I might be procrastinating a thing. So here we go, and I can finally show you my current treasures. So after I've hung a bunch of pictures, I think it's just well and good. I'll show you a picture first. I'm not sure I've ever shown you this one. It's beautiful. It's amazing, and it's going to go over my desk, which is just in front of me, and you can't see it. It says below it that it's supposed to be festivities during the Renaissance. I think it is through the lens of 19th century artists, but that is perfectly okay, because honestly I kind of like the reception of other eras in, you know, later eras. It's just what we do. This is basically just Ren Fair, but make it 19th century. Anyway, it's beautiful. It's going over my desk again, because that's where it used to be before. Before I swapped the sofa and the desk, so that's completely irrelevant to you. So usually I kind of theme my thrift hauls around something. It's usually a style or a season or something like that. And I think today's thrift haul is along the lines of whimsicality, things that just bring me joy. They're absolutely luxury items, nothing that I desperately need to live, but they make my life a lot prettier and happier and brighter. And I just like sharing that. So I guess that's today's theme: whimsicality and folly. Speaking of folly, this was such a case of I absolutely do not need it, but I can afford it, right? And it's sort of, and I want it because it feels so nice. I bought this during the summer, and it is this. It is a silk jersey nightgown. So it is knitwear, but it is silk, and it is so lightweight, and it is so soft, and it feels so great to wear in summer when it's too hot and flounce around in it, at least at home, because I still haven't figured out how to style it. Maybe if I found a way, I'll put footage in here. But it has this lace inset and these very, I don't know what these sleeves are called. They remind me of some sort of flower petals in a way, and it's long. It actually goes to my ankles. It doubles as a scarf if I desperately needed to. And I bought this when I was visiting my family, so it's also a bit of a souvenir. So I bought that in summer, but it is winter right now, and I've taken to wearing sort of long sleeve things. Like this is actually a long sleeve, what I'm wearing under my jacket, and then jackets over it, or waistcoats. And I noticed that I don't have a lot of long sleeves that no, not even that I like, I just don't have a lot of long sleeves. So I went to the thrift store with the expressed need for wool socks, which I also found, which are these. They're exactly the ones I like. They look like they have been made for a winter charity bazaar by somebody's grandma, and that is exactly what I wanted. And I found them for, I think, €4, which is very much a steal. So, and one of the long sleeves that I found that I also needed was this. It doesn't look like much, but it has a little lettuce hem. I like a little lettuce hem, and it has an azure pattern. So this sort of dainty knit-in pattern. And aside from that, it's just normal, but I only need the sleeves to look great. And the rest is just to, you know, keep me warm. Because the rest is going to be covered up by either a jacket or a waistcoat anyway. So I'm actually quite excited to do things with this one, but first it needs to be washed. Very much like this one. It doesn't look like much, but I really like the sleeves because they're sort of billowy, puffy situations. Might actually have to dye this. Is that project counter-worthy? Huh. Might have to dye it because I'm not the biggest fan of this heathered grey. But aside from that, it's fine, yeah. So I could also live with a grey. And it also needs to go in the wash because it still smells weird like the thrift store. Speaking of things I found yesterday, I also brought home this piece. There's still the price tag on it. It was €2. I just adore these. I think they are meant to hold potpourris, like brass or silver boxes with openwork decoration. I almost always take them home because they're super cheap, and like those usually go for like €1 or €2 at my thrift store, and they are so pretty. And I like them mostly for LARP, but also for real life purposes because, you know, can never have enough receptacles, which sort of brings me to the next category if there's categories. So one thing that helps me in keeping the banality at bay is exchanging mundane things for prettier versions. So in this case, it can be two things. So either it could be a pill case or it could be a tiny sewing case, because it is this. It is a tiny metal tin, which, well, opens, no surprise. And it does have a sewing kit on the front, so it kind of screams, put a tiny sewing kit in me to take everywhere, to just have in your bag. Or I could use it as a pill case, but it's definitely going to be the new version of something that looks a little more mundane and boring. Because I think having nicer versions and more custom versions of things actually make life a lot nicer. Speaking of which, actually, I wanted to show you receptacles, but that was a good point to bring in these. So I like taking home silver cutlery. Who would have thunk? Honestly, we're well stocked in that regard. I even have a box of silver cutlery that I only have for crafting purposes. But this, well, not set, but these two, this spoon and fork, they're fairly tiny. Like this is them in my hand. These are probably not normal eating. Honestly, I don't know a lot about cutlery, like about the finer aspects of that. Like 19th century, this one is for fish, except for carp. If you eat carp with it, you will be disinherited. Anywho, these are really pretty, and the thing is, they are mildly broken. The spoon has this thing, which is loose, and the mother of pearl has chipped, which I honestly don't mind. They are for one of my LARP characters who already has mother of pearl handle cutlery. But not small things. It's not bad if they're chipped. Imagine slightly threadbare luxury, which is generally a look I like a lot. And because of the slightly being fucked up, they were, I think, 50 cents each. Which means if you don't mind being a little goblin about things and don't minding things being chipped, you can have great treasures at very little prices, and then you can become a little bit of a hoarder and have a lot of treasures. And we're not talking about that, but those are nice, and they're going into the cutlery bag for that character. Speaking of that character, and still not getting on with the receptacles, the character wears rings, and I rarely do in everyday life. Like, I have 2 rings that I wear on my pinky and on my thumb regularly, but aside from that, I don't wear a lot of rings, and I don't even wear those daily. So the character has rings on both pinkies, and I finally found something that works for the ring fingers as well, and it is these. Yes, I bought them double because they had several, and these are some sort of costume jewelry, so no real stones. Oh, the one is... Oh, I wasn't aware that one of them is actually smaller than the other, which is perfectly fine because my left hand is slightly smaller than my dominant right hand, so perfect. These actually fit on both of my ring fingers, so I'm not sure if I'm keeping both of them for the character or just use one for me for everyday life, because I deserve nice things. And maybe you remember that last time I showed you this pendant, and I think they go actually quite well with that. So that is a nice coincidence. Speaking of rings, I also found this one. So I like it when rings have no backing behind the stone. I don't know much about making jewelry, so I don't have the vocabulary for that. I am quite sorry. If that is something that annoys you, please educate me in the comments. Anyway, I like that because then you can look through them and maybe, I don't know, decipher secret reading, like secret messages, or see a certain star constellation through them, or something. It is very fantasy story coded to me, and yeah, this one probably goes into my everyday jewelry box, but also maybe the character. I'm not sure yet. I'll have to figure that out. I have rings for the character that are wearing out because they're super cheap. Also secondhand ones that lose the very, very thin plating that was on there, and that wasn't even silver. I don't know what it was, but now there is this coppery tone showing, and I don't like how that looks, and it starts smelling weird. Anyway, I promised you receptacles, so you will get more receptacles. So next receptacle is this. It's actually a money box, says so on the top, which is probably the only thing you can really use it for, because there's, you know, that the lid doesn't come off. The only thing that comes off is this, and so I'll probably have to put money in there, or just figure out something else. Maybe just take up. Can I take up the top in? Anyhow. The reason why I bought this, I don't really need a money box, but the reason why I bought this is the absolutely beautiful 70s, 80s Das Art Nouveau sides. And as much as I love Sarah Kay, because that is the epitome of cottagecore and natural K to me, as much as I love that, I think if I'm going to use this, I'm either going to put it somewhere like between books or so I can only see this, or I'm going to cover this up with paper. Like, of course, it'll be reversible, because at some point I might want to pass this on or actually have this picture somewhere, but just glue that on with some water-soluble glue, and then I can just peel it off again. Because somehow she doesn't speak to me right now. Or maybe it's not for me and I'm meant to pass it on to someone else. I'll see. That is always a risk with things I find at the thrift store. And I have another tin, and it's this. So this pattern speaks to me so much. This combination of kitschy 80s roses, weird stuff, plus Jessery diamonds, and there's even a jester, clown, whatever person on the top. So as much as I appreciate this person doing their job, it has sort of bleached out. I'm pretty sure these things were the same color at some point, but the sun has done its thing. And it's also super badly printed. I don't know if you can see this, but it's actually blurry. So I'm either going to glue something over that, or I'm going to discard the lid altogether and just use this as a pen holder or something, because that's, let's face it, that's what I mostly do with my tins anyway, if I don't put tea in them, and I already have enough tea tins. But also what I'm trying to say is this is peak aesthetic to me. Like this is something I want on my clothing. I don't know how, but I want to look like this box, like this tin. So this is going to be a great inspiration for me next year, maybe. Because honestly, let's face it, the year is coming to an end, and I have limited time for making myself look like that. I'll at least keep my eyes out for things that kind of look like this. Do you know that feeling when you sometimes have an item and it inspires you, or more likely, you look at an item and you think, I want to look like this? Or sometimes it's a scenery, but it's not an outfit per se. I tend to have that, and I'm still trying to figure out how to look like Amsterdam when it's very rainy in October. There's another receptacle I'd like you to meet, which is this. I said I have enough tea tins, but this is not tin. This is earthenware in some way. It is some sort of reproduction of a historical tea receptacle, with a super pretty, also Art Nouveau painting on front and on the sides. Like, oh my, these water lilies. I also want that on, I don't know, a dress or a waistcoat or something. And on the bottom it says made after the original. So that is would you mind? That is what makes me assume that it is some sort of replica deal. And in the 80s and 70s also, there used to be these catalogs with a lot of replica things. Of, I don't know, there was brass items like little statuettes. There was stuff like this. Also small furniture, things like that. And I love looking at them, and I know that's something that doesn't exist anymore in this capacity. So I absolutely find it splendid when I encounter one of those catalogs, and this might be from actually one of those catalogs. Honestly, I might just forgo the tea suggestion on front, because that surely has to be a suggestion and not a rule, and use it as a cookie tin or something. It's not a tin, like a cookie jar. Still not a tin. Okay, we still have more receptacles because I have a problem apparently. But at least they're made of different materials, because we had tin, we had brass, we had earthenware, and now we have straw. So it's this one, and it's also very, very 70s, 80s. You might notice a pattern. So this is a lovely little straw or some sort of fiber. I don't know enough about these things once again, but if you can identify this immediately, hey, let me know in the comments. What I like about it is not just the shape, not just the color. It looks very summery to me actually, which is a bit weird considering that we're in November. And I really like the roses on top. They're also made of the same material. And the thing is, of course, it opens up and there's another one in there. And if you open up that one, there's another one in there. And if you open up that one, there's not another one in there, because it would be really tiny and sort of useless. Anywho, I'll see what I do with them. I think they're kind of screaming to go into the craft room for something. And because there's still some materials missing in terms of receptacles, I also have a bag. So I love tapestry bags, and this is one of the most beautiful specimens I've seen in a long time, especially from my thrift store for a decent price. I cannot exactly date it, but if you look closely, the clasp is two intertwining snakes, and it's fairly filigrane. So that is always a good sign when it comes to it being older. But once again, I'm not an appraiser, I'm just a bit of a nerd. Aside from that, I really like the roses on there. I like the ribbon, it's just so pretty. I don't know what to wear this for, to be honest, because I don't wear a lot of handbags. I'm a crossbody bag person, but if I make the chain longer, I can wear this crossbody, or at least over the shoulder, and maybe when I have fancy outings with my friends, I can, you know, take this along. At this point I noticed that the video was becoming rather long, and I don't want to rush myself. I want to take my time with showing you my treasures, because I think they deserve it and you deserve it as well, so there will be a part 2. And that will be published after the yearly trend predictions, which are already written and hopefully won't take as long as this video did in terms of filming and editing. Be that as it may, thank you so much for watching. I do know that I'm not exactly algorithm friendly with my schedule or my frequency or my non-existent SEO or PR or whatever, so I take it as a huge compliment when people come back to this channel and find me in the first place, actually. I hope you all had a good start into the new year, and that's it from me. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others. See you soon. Bye!